Well, hey friends, it's Marissa and Neptune. He's hanging out with me up here. And I did another video about being introverted and being in the real estate business. And it was kind of just a yappy, chatty video. And I really enjoyed doing that. So I decided I would keep the theme going. But today I want to talk about comparing yourself when you are a small business owner because it is just so real. It hurts. It genuinely hurts when you see people on social media and you find yourself comparing yourself and your business and your success to theirs. And it really is the thief of joy. It's true what they say. So I just want to tell you about my experience and some of the things that help me reframe my way of thinking so that I can remember why I'm doing this, who I'm doing it for, what I really want out of life. And usually after that reality check, I feel much better. So for Social Buzz in particular, I follow these similar accounts and I see what they're doing and I think like, geez, I need to be posting more. I don't know what I'm talking about and I really don't deserve to have a social media company. Pump the brakes. Are you freaking for real, Marissa? Like I'm like, oh my God, I have to sit back for a second and say like, seriously, did you just say that to yourself? I do really like the saying. I forget exactly how it goes, but imagine if a friend told you these things, like, Marissa, you are not any good at social media. You would tell that friend to get lost. You would not be friends with that person anymore. So why do we accept it from ourselves? Honestly, what you tell yourself is everything. And I feel like even just from square one, starting as a small business owner, and if you're watching this and you're a real estate agent, because I'm also a real estate agent in addition to being a social media business owner, tell yourself, even if you've only been a real estate agent for 2 days, wake up and tell yourself, I'm a real estate agent. Look into the mirror, say, my name is blank, and I'm a real estate agent. And say it with confidence because you are, even if it's only day 2, even if it's year 3, even if it's year 20, you have to believe that deep, deep down. So the other thing I like to keep in mind is Social Buzz, my social media company, is something that I do in addition to real estate. Real estate and Social Buzz work together and it's been amazing to see. I had this insecurity when I started Social Buzz thinking that if my real estate clients found out that I was also doing Social Buzz, that they wouldn't want to work with me because I wasn't going to be competent enough to do both, and vice versa. If somebody came to me for social media help, but they saw, oh, she's a real estate agent, a full-time real estate agent, she must not have time for me. And that was definitely a limiting belief that I had because I absolutely have had time for both and it's been incredible. A lot of people don't actually know this, except for the people who are like closest to me, but I have always had something, a side gig, if you will, in addition to real estate. I have never really just been able to make real estate financially work. Sorry, my other cat is rubbing her face on the tripod, so if it was a little shaky there, that's what that was. But I've never really been able to make real estate financially work for myself, like just that alone. It's been a little bit on the struggle bus sometimes, and that's just the life of a business owner, honestly. You have hills and you have valleys, and it's not very consistent. So I knew that going into it, but I genuinely love real estate, and so I'm so thankful that I found something that can work in conjunction with real estate. I actually have real estate clients who came from Social Buzz. People follow my accounts and they work with me for Social Buzz, and then they find out that I'm a real estate agent and they want to work with me on their purchase or their sale of their home. And it's just completely opposite to what I thought it would be. I always thought that, these people would see that I'm doing 2 things and assume that I don't have time. But it's actually doing the opposite. I'm meeting more people because of having both businesses, and it's just insane to me how wrong I was. Now, let me explain to you a little bit about the structure of my businesses so that this will make sense. I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here. However, I limit myself for Social Buzz clients. I understand how much workload I can take on based on the hours I want to work in a week. And so real estate, I kind of just let it run wild because I have periods of busy and I have periods of slow. And so I kind of just let it do its thing. But for Social Buzz, I need to be intentional about the clients that I take on. Hi, Asta. I need to be intentional about the clients that I take on. I have found that I really can only handle 2 full-time monthly clients for Social Buzz, and then I do content shoots that are kind of sporadic. I do quarterly pop-up shoots. These pop-up shoots are 1 day each quarter, so 4 times a year. I'm having these pop-up content shoots. I have 2 max of 2 clients that I work with each month, creating content for them, managing their social media platforms, and then I have the content shoots, which are more of a sporadic thing. So that's how I make it work with Social Buzz and real estate. I found that it's been working really, really well. Of course, I have periods, like the past couple of weeks have been crazy busy with both, but it always evens out, and I know what I can handle. And that brings me to my next point of the comparison game. As a small business owner and self-employed individual, I feel like we get into the habit of comparing dollars a lot. And we think that when we see people who are super, super busy, they must be rolling in the dough, They must be raking it in. But guess what? Those people also might be working 7 days a week. And if that's not your vibe, then you're not going to enjoy your life. For the past couple of weeks, I have pretty much only had Sundays off, barely, and it has definitely taken a toll on me. I love a slower pace of life, and I don't want to be super, super busy with work. And so I have found a certain number of hours each week that works for me and keeps me sane. I love to have free time. I like to prioritize exercising and reading and just spending time in our home. And I feel like if I were to take on any more work than I have right now, I wouldn't be able to do those things. So to me, success is truly revolving around your level of happiness. It doesn't really have anything to do with money, in my opinion. Sure, it's great to be financially stable. However, I just don't think that success for me means money directly. I think that success for me means having a financially stable yet happy life. A life where I have a decent amount of free time and free will. And if I want to take the afternoon off and go shopping or go to the park or go to the pool, that I can. And I feel like there are other people out there that can't necessarily do that. And that's fine with them. That's the life that they desire, is to work almost every single day and work really long hours and make a lot of money. And that's what success is for them. And I think it's wonderful for them, but it's not going to work for me. So let me summarize what I have covered so far. I compare myself on Instagram to other social media business owners, thinking that I need to be posting more. Well, guess what? I already have my maximum full service clients. I'm maxed out. I literally cannot take any more business at this point. And I was just scrolling and I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to be posting more. For what? For what? I literally have my dream clients at the moment, and I have contracts for the next 6 months and potentially for the next year, and the future is looking bright. The future is looking real bright. And my real estate clients, my real estate business is doing phenomenal as well. But of course, you see agents posting accepted offer, just closed, all of that. Like, of course they're going to post it because it's an accomplishment that they're proud of and they're happy about it and they're celebrating their clients. However, I think oftentimes we look at that and say, geez, like, they must be making a lot of money, and I'm over here, I don't really have a lot of business. Depending on the season of life you're in, which an agent had told me a few months ago, we were talking about how I just got engaged. I got engaged in December, and I think we were talking on the phone in January. And I was like, yeah, like, it hasn't been super busy for work, to be honest, but like, I just got engaged, and it's an exciting time in my life. And she was like, work will always be there. It'll always come back, but you have to enjoy this phase of life that you're in. You're likely never going to get married again, and it's never going to come back this time in your life. And so you have to really soak it up, enjoy it. And that really, really stuck with me. I do feel like the times that I have been slow in my business have been a godsend. I was really slow in my real estate business like 2 years ago, and I actually ended up getting like severe acid reflux to the point where I was not eating very much. I lost like 15 pounds in the span of 2 weeks. I was nauseous every day. I couldn't focus on anything and I really only had like one active buyer. And before it hit me, I was stressing out so hard about work and finances. And then all of a sudden, I basically got sick, and I'm fine now, thank goodness. And I do want to make another video on that. This is like such a tangent, but I guess this is what this video is supposed to be for. Once I did end up getting sick and I was basically out of commission, I was like, that's a good thing that I'm not so crazy busy, because all of this business, I would have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I ended up just having a guy in my office show a couple properties for me, and then I ended up being on the up and up a couple months later, and I was able to take it over. However, it's like that season of life. You're getting married, you're having a baby. You know, maybe your significant other works a lot and you have to take care of the house, and maybe it's a good thing you're slow at the time, you know, and work will always come back. So I just wanted to pass along that little lovely tidbit that she passed along to me. I really appreciated that a lot. But I just look at my life and what I want, and what I want out of life is not the same as what other people want out of life. And so I just am asking you to reflect on that as well. I do post a lot of business content and day in my life, and I'm sure a lot of other self-employed people will watch this video and resonate with it. So if you are feeling like you're on the comparison game, just stop for a minute and ask, what do I really want out of life? Is it that? Because you can say you want to make $300,000 a year all day long, but if you're not actually willing to put in that many hours, then you need to rethink some things. That's just the hard truth. It's pouring rain. That was a jumble of thoughts, but I hope that it was helpful to hear. It's helpful for me, at least, because I'm sitting here comparing, oh my gosh, I should have more business. And then I'm like, wait, I'm actually superseding all of my goals for the year. I've met and exceeded every expectation I've set for myself this year, and I should be celebrating, not comparing. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my rambles. If you have any ideas for topics that I should talk about next and go off on tangents about, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, we will see you in the next video. Bye.